I also wanted to talk to you, before we get into the content today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about an update that has happened recently in the AI world. So we don't always share every single thing that's been updated because we would be here all day and never ending trying to fill you in on every single thing, because the AI world is developing at such an immense rate, such a fast rate. We just try and share the things that are relevant to you as accountants and bookkeepers and that will be helpful to you going forward using ChatGPT and other AI. So the main update that I want to talk to you about is that there are kind of unofficial, official leaderboards for all of the different large language models out there. So the main ones that we have are Claude from Anthropic, ChatGPT from OpenAI, and Gemini, which was originally Bard from Google. And there are a couple of other ones from Meta, and I think Amazon and Apple are joining the game. But those are kind of the big key players with the most backing and the most funding as well. And ChatGPT has almost 100% been at the top of the leaderboard since it came out, okay? So it's always been at the top, but very recently, Claude has actually overtaken it. So Claude has started to outperform GPT-4, that's the GPT-4 model, in a lot of different areas. So I'm not gonna go into the details of what the tests are, but I am gonna show you this leaderboard so that you can kind of see what this looks like. So this is a benchmarking study that Anthropic have released, and you can see along the left over here, the green kind of column is Claude Opus 3 is the top tier of Claude. It's the paid version. So it goes Haiku is the free version, then Sonnet, then Opus is the top tier version. So kind of the equivalent of GPT 3.5 is the free version on OpenAI, and then GPT-4 is what you get with the paid version. You can see how these numbers stack up, and quite consistently now, Claude 3 Opus is starting to outperform GPT-4. So we still going to champion OpenAI and ChatGPT as it stands for now, or I personally do, because of the other features that are available. So Claude doesn't have an image generation feature, and you can't access the internet through Claude as well. So those extra features and the other elements of ChatGPT, like Code Interpreter, and the fact that you can have customized GPTs and custom instructions, these extra features really still do make me believe that GPT-4 is the better model to be using. But there may be some instances where you like to go to Claude and use their version just to see how the two things that we create compare. So we're going to go into some examples today about email marketing, and what you might like to do is take the prompts that we use and see how they compare versus in Claude versus the OpenAI ChatGPT. So you can see here that the various different tests that it's winning on. We've got undergraduate level knowledge, graduate level reasoning. So reasoning is the test questions it gives it is something like, so if Sam has 5 books in his room and he reads 3 of them, how many books are left in its room? So the answer is 5 because he's just read the books, he hasn't removed them from the room. But we were seeing that Claude was answering that correctly and saying 5, whereas GPT was saying sometimes 2 because it thought the books had been removed. So, and it's tested on a multitude of different things, and that's just one example. But the reasoning definitely comes out as winning here. So you can see 50.4% accuracy rate with Claude, whereas it's a 35.7 with the GPT-4 model. So you can see that quite consistently across this, Claude is winning and is outperforming. And in some cases as well, even the second tier is outperforming GPT-4. So we can see here for graduate level reasoning, the mid tier of Claude, 40.4, is outperforming the 35.7 of GPT-4. So, and this goes across different areas such as maths as well, coding, reasoning and knowledge and Q&A and common knowledge, so all of these various different areas. We do have another table down here, which is more of the visual elements as well. So we've got maths and reasoning here from a visual perspective. We've got document visuals, more maths, science diagrams and charts. So on some of these, Gemini is actually outperforming GPT-4, but you can see that Claude is winning a couple of those areas as well. So it's just an interesting thing to note that this is the way that it's going. It's always been a very, very close race with the different large language models, but we're now starting to see that OpenAI is kind of getting knocked off its pedestal a bit, and the others are starting to catch up. So it's very much a race, and they're constantly one-upping each other. I will still say that because of those extra features that I mentioned earlier, the internet access, the custom GPTs, custom instructions, image generation, I would still say using OpenAI ChatGPT is still the better tool as it stands, but there may be instances where you would like to play them off against each other and see which one you prefer the answer of, okay? So I just thought I'd point that out as an update before we got started. If you are interested in getting more updates about the AI world, then if you're not already, you can join the AI ChatGPT for Accountants and Bookkeepers Facebook group that we have. So I've got the link up on the screen now. You can go and join that. And I think the team are going to put the link in the chat as well. You might be watching from Facebook, but if you're interested in the updates, we share updates in here. We also share when we're doing these live streams, people share their favorite prompts and their favorite use cases and various bits of information. So if that's something you're interested in staying in touch, then you might like to join that Facebook group as well. So that's the announcements and then the updates all kind of out the way. Now let's dive into the content of today. So let's get started. Today's session is the key to faster, more effective email campaigns. So we're looking at how ChatGPT and AI can help us to improve our email marketing systems. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is a slight difference here between a manual email that you might send versus an automatic email campaign. So what we're looking at today is email campaigns. Now with manual emails, that's going to look like an example of a manual campaign, a manual email that you send out would be if somebody has an inquiry about your business and you respond to that directly on a one-to-one kind of basis, or you communicate something with a client that is not a standardized thing that you can communicate with all your clients. It's a specific one-to-one sort of thing. Or perhaps it's something that you set up manually as you go through because information needs to be added to each email independently. So we'll talk a little bit about that later in terms of things like onboarding, where it's different information for each person. So there's some manual element to you needing to set up those emails. Versus an automatic email campaign, which is what we call an autoresponder campaign. These are emails that you will write once and then set up with a tool, a CRM tool like MailChimp or Aweber or MailerLite or Keep or any of these kind of mailing systems, CRM systems. You'll write these emails once, set them up in a system like that so that they are pre-scheduled to go out. And then once they are triggered by a certain action, those emails will be automatically received methodically on the time scale that you have set it out. So perhaps it's one a day, perhaps it's one a week. Once somebody triggers that first action, and we'll look at a couple of different instances of that, that will then trigger them receiving the rest of the email campaign. So it all happens automatically. You set it up once and then you forget about it. And anybody that joins your list, signs up for something on your website, downloads a piece of content from you, whatever method it is that you use to get them into your list, that will all happen automatically. So some examples of these automatic campaigns might be something like an onboarding system for a new client. If it's something that's standardized and it goes through the exact same process, there's no specific personalized information, and it's just a series of emails that maybe talk about how to get set up on the system that you use, what information you need from them, how to navigate a platform that you use, information that is standardized. An onboarding sequence to onboard your new clients with email. That could be an example of an automatic email campaign. You might also have a lead magnet, which is something that is a valuable piece of content that you give away for free in exchange for somebody's name and email address. So that's something we talk about in a lot more detail in our academy. We talk about systems of getting those emails in, of getting people's email contact details and those leads and bringing them into the business. We do talk about that more in the academy. But what we're looking at today is the emails that you send after you've got them. But one of the things that you might do is you have this lead magnet, somebody downloads that piece of content, and then you need a series of emails that go out to them afterwards to confirm that they successfully downloaded it, deliver the content, send them follow-up information to see if they managed to get through all of that content, send them additional valuable content, whatever it might be, push them towards booking a meeting and various other things. It might look something like that. You might also have a welcome campaign. So if somebody just joins your mailing list, they've maybe never heard of you before, they stumbled across your website and they found something where they could sign up to a newsletter on your website, then they might receive emails that welcome them to the business and introduce who you are and the missions and values, the services that you provide, and all of these various different sorts of things. So a welcome campaign might be an automatic campaign you have. You might also have reminder emails for appointments that people book. So it may be that you have this as part of a regular system. Somebody books an appointment and they get sent a series of reminder emails to make sure they turn up to the right place. So all of these kind of emails, they're all standardized and they're all the same for no matter who joins your mailing list or how they sign up. All these emails are the same. So you create them once, you set them up on a pre-scheduled tool, and then you forget about them. And you just put your efforts then into the marketing that will bring them into that list. So we're looking today at this portion of the marketing system that is, once you've brought them in, how to help them convert and how to set those emails up. You can then, once you've got this set up, it's a one and done thing. You then put all of your energy and your marketing efforts into bringing people into that list. And that's where you can focus your attention and your efforts, okay? So that's a little bit of a difference there between the manual and the automatic emails. Another thing to mention then is why is email so important? Why is email so powerful? Now, when you compare it to something like social media, the thing that makes email really powerful and important to have is that it's a direct way of reaching somebody. If you send somebody an email, it will land in their inbox, unless they've got spam filters and stuff blocking them, there are ways to get around, but that's not what we're talking about today. If you send somebody an email, it will land in their inbox. Now, if you are doing social media promotion and somebody goes onto Facebook and they scroll down their timeline, they may not get to the post that you sent off because maybe it was 3 or 4 hours ago and they didn't scroll far enough to get to that point. Or maybe they did scroll far enough, but it wasn't engaging enough, so they went straight past it. Or maybe the algorithms behind Facebook didn't want to promote your post, so your post didn't get seen by them. Okay, so there's lots of different reasons why the algorithms and stuff can work against you on social media. So when you're using email, you can have a much more direct access to that person. There's a different mindset when people tend to be using social media versus when they're on the email. Now, obviously this is a generalization, and some people do use social media for business and various different, business opportunities. But a lot of the time, people use social media as a kind of respite, as a kind of way of switching their brain off. And if they are in that mindset when they see your post, they may not want to engage with it. Whereas if they're at their desk and they're going through their work emails and they see that email there, they might be in a different mindset. So it's reaching out to them in a slightly different way, and potentially getting them in a different mood or in a different kind of headspace, okay? So email is really, really powerful. There's also a really important quote to remember, is that the size of your list is directly proportional to the size of your income. So the bigger your list can be, the bigger your mailing list can be, the more chance you have of winning business from that list. So if you have a list of 100 people and you have somebody now to reach out to about your products and your services. So if you go through a reprice, or you change your products and services, you change the way it's formatted or something, you do a big kind of rehaul, you've now got 100 people that you can tell about. Or perhaps you do a webinar where you teach about the best tax saving strategies for your niche that you work within. Or perhaps you're doing an in-person event and you want to promote that. Whatever it is that you've got that you want to promote, you now have 100 people that you can reach out to, because you've been collecting those names and email addresses. Now, let's say you have a 10% conversion rate with that email that you send. You've got 10 people's business. Now, if you can increase the size of that list to 1,000 and you still have that conversion rate of 10%, you now have 100 people who will engage with you, book the appointment, buy your service, attend your webinar, whatever it is that you're offering. So increasing the size of your list is really, really important, but we also want to focus on today how to then get them to engage with that content, and content that works for them. So what we're going to do is we're going to head into ChatGPT, and we're going to have a look at a couple of different ways of approaching this kind of system. So let's head into ChatGPT. So first thing I want to show you is we can use ChatGPT to help us get more information about what is effective in an email campaign, what ideas maybe we have for an email campaign. So maybe all of those kind of ideas that I said to you at the start about the welcome campaign, the sending stuff after you've gathered somebody from a lead magnet, all of these different avenues of different types of emails, that might seem a bit overwhelming. So what we can maybe do is, first of all, just look up what types of automatic email campaigns are there, so that we can see which ones would be appropriate for our business. So the first question I've asked of GPT is, what type of automatic email campaigns might I set up for my bookkeeping business? Consider both prospective clients and actual clients. So these are different types of emails, because your prospective clients, you're going to be focusing on building a relationship with them. Once you've gathered their name and email address, your focus with these people that are not yet clients is building a relationship, building up what we call the KLT factor, which is know, like, and trust. We're getting them to know who you are, like what you do and what you stand for, and trust that you are sincere and that you are an expert and that you have authority. So building that factor is really what you're focusing on doing throughout many of these prospective clients' automatic campaigns. Now, on the other side of it, you also want to continue to deliver value to your clients that you do have, and you want to give them an experience in your business that shows that that they have a smooth experience, that you are good communication, that you continue to deliver value to them through this smooth system that you've got them set up with. So there's a different approach to these different types of emails, but we can get ChatGPT to help us with both of those. So first of all, let's see what it's come up with for these types of automatic email campaigns that I might set up for my bookkeeping business. So it's split them into two sections. We've got prospective and we've got actual clients. So for prospective clients, we have a welcome series. Now, the welcome series, when potential clients sign up for more information, send a series of emails that introduce your business, outline the service you offer, and highlight your unique selling points. So this is when somebody first joins your list. Now, you may have different avenues of bringing people into your list, and you can get really kind of targeted and defined here, and you can add tags to people, you can add notes, so that as somebody comes in through a particular avenue, you now know that they're interested in that piece of content, and you can send them relevant stuff. But to try and keep this at a bit of a base level, when somebody enters your list via whatever means, they land on your website and sign up for something, or you have a freebie that you give out, or however it is they enter your list, you want to welcome them. You want to give an introduction to who you are, who you serve, what your services are, because that might not be something they know, and just get them to, we're building that relationship, we're building that know, like, and trust, we're building that familiarity to warm them up to a point where they are ready to buy a service from you, okay? So they're not going to buy from you if they don't know who you are. So the welcome series is about building that relationship. So number 2 it's come up with is educational content. So this might come under that kind of bracket of the specific campaign that you send after somebody has got their lead magnet. So this would be after you've sent that campaign to them, you'd follow up with top tips, or it doesn't actually necessarily have to be part of that specific campaign. This could just be once somebody has joined your list and they've got that welcome series, which is maybe 3 or 4 emails in the first week, you now send them an email every week that has educational, valuable content in there. So it could be you run a blog and you send that blog to them every week. It could be that you post YouTube videos giving great tips to businesses in your niche, and you want to send them that video every week. So it's educational, it's valuable content, it's something that you know they're interested in because of what they signed up for to get into your list. It could just be that you give them a series of tips. It says here, share valuable bookkeeping tips, tax saving strategies, and financial management advice. What this does is it positions your business as the expert and builds trust. So we're positioning you as an expert in doing that, and you're building trust with the client, building that relationship by showing that you know what you're talking about, you have credibility, and you're able and very capable of helping them in their business. So educational content, a great one to do. And something like that is if you have 52 blog posts that you use ChatGPT to create these 52 blog posts and set them up in the year, you can then set up those emails, the 52 emails that go out once a week. You could set those all up one day. You could spend one day at the start of the year, maybe 2 days, making all the blogs, scheduling them to go out, making all the emails and scheduling those to go out, and then just forget about it. And then you've got all of those emails set up for a year that send that educational content. As long as there's nothing time specific within them, it's a really, really interesting way of setting that up. And it's something you set up once and then it's done and it's ready, and that will go out throughout that year. Okay, so next one it has is client testimonials and case studies. So this would be a case of sharing the people that you have been able to help in your business, gathering information from them and getting their version of the story and sharing that with your prospective clients and saying, we've managed to help this person get from A to B, making sure that A is the point that they relate to. So we helped this client, which is very similar to who you are right now and where you are right now. We helped them get from point A to point B with our service. And that is much more powerful than somebody just individually, the business themselves saying, we can help you in this way, because it brings in this idea of social proof. So social proof is, well, if they've managed to get that result, then maybe I can get that too. So it brings in that extra element there. So we also have service highlight campaigns. So this is highlighting the service that you do and making sure that the people that have joined your list who maybe don't know very much about you, highlight the different service offerings that you have that may be beneficial to them. So this is just kind of an information drop email that says, hey, did you know we do these services? You might be interested in it. You could probably book an appointment with us here. That kind of email. We've got seasonal reminders as well, which is an interesting one to do that could be really timely. So maybe you send emails that are related to the tax period. Maybe there's a particular busy tax deadline and you want to start sending emails out a couple of weeks in advance of that to say, hey, this tax deadline's coming up. If you need help getting your taxes in order, your books and records in order, that's something that we provide. We can help you with that to make sure you meet those deadlines. And that's something that's seasonal and it's timely and it relates to a specific event. And it might help that person out and catch them when they are already thinking about that event that's coming up. They're already thinking about the tax deadline that's coming up and starting to worry about it. And then you land in their inbox with saying, hey, the tax deadline's coming up and we can help you with that. Then you might just catch them at a really, really helpful time. So that's the prospective ones it's come up with. We then have actual clients as well. So these are people that you've already signed up, you're already working with. And the different types of emails it suggests here, we've got an onboarding series. So this is providing a structured email sequence that guides new clients through the onboarding process, including how to use your services, what to expect, and who to contact for support. So a great thing to set up so that each of your clients, when they sign up with you, go through a really smooth system. We also have regular updates and newsletters. So I guess similar to the educational content one, if there's anything that happens in the kind of bookkeeping and accounting world that you want to update somebody on, there's a change to tax legislation or something happened and that they can take advantage of a new opportunity, then maybe that's something that you put into your newsletters and you inform them of those things to continually provide them with value. There's also satisfaction surveys, so getting feedback is really important and a lot of people don't do that. And as well, we have on here referral programs. Now, a lot of people say that referrals are the most effective marketing strategy, the most powerful marketing strategy, but they don't have any systems in place to ask for those referrals. So if you can set up a series of emails, and this could just be 2 or 3 emails that go out every year, or maybe just 1 email that goes out after a meeting that you have with them, but it's something that's set up automatically to happen so that even if you forget, it's still a part of your process and you are continuously asking for those referrals and for that feedback, because it's really helpful stuff for you and your business. And we also have on here then the cross-sell and upsell opportunities. So if you're delivering a bookkeeping service to somebody but they don't have payroll with you, then maybe you spike their interest and say, we also have a payroll service, you might be interested in doing that. Or if you have an upsell that can enhance the bookkeeping service that they already have, you might just inform them about those things and ask if they want to book an appointment to sort that out, okay? So lots of different things that we can look into, lots of different types of email campaigns. So the next thing that I've asked here then is, let's look at the welcome series. We're going to look at that one. Let's look at the welcome series for a prospective client. What are the top 10 essential things I need to include across this series? And how many emails should I use for this series, and what time should those emails go out? So whenever I do these sessions about email or other things, social media, a lot of the questions that I get are, what are the best practices to do with email? When should I send them out? How frequently should I send them out? What information should I include in them? How long should they be? Should I put a video in there? Should I put a picture in there? All of these things that you have questions about, you can come to ChatGPT and ask those questions. Now, if you are going to ask the free version, 3.5, then just bear in mind that the free version is trained up until January 2022. So if you ask it the question, tell me what the top tips are for an email series, it's gonna, to the best of its ability, draw from the information that it had from January 2022 and before. So your information might be 2 years out of date, okay? That's what I'm saying. But if you use ChatGPT 4, you can ask it to use the internet to assist with that research. It will go away and research those things for you and then come and provide it back to you here in a way that's easily digestible and easy for you to consume, okay? So it's gonna go and find those essential things. The powerful thing about doing that as well is that when you ask it further questions and you ask it to then create the emails with those 10 essential items, because it's done the work itself and it's gone and found the answers itself, you haven't just gone and researched it and pasted it in there and said, these are 10 things I want you to include. It's done the research itself. Sometimes that does help it to actually incorporate those a lot better into the response that it gives you when it's done the work itself, okay? Sometimes. We can see different responses, and sometimes when you do give it more information rather than letting it do its own thing, that does work better. But it's interesting to see the difference if you are on the paid version. So anyway, let's look at the welcome series for a prospective client. What are the top 10 essential things I need to include? How many emails should I use for this series, and what time should the emails go out? So the essential elements that it's told me about here. We have a personalized welcome message. So I want to start with a warm, personal introduction to your business and express gratitude for their interest. Yeah, okay, so we do want to welcome people. Give a business overview, so describe your business, its history, core values, and mission to give a clear picture of who you are. So that's really important because they might not know you. They might have just signed up for something really quickly on your website and they don't know who you are. So giving an overview is really important. Service offerings, so letting them know, clearly outlining the services you provide, highlighting the benefits and how they address common pain points. So that's really important here, the benefits that they receive. So we're not just talking about, we can do your bookkeeping for you. We're talking here about the benefits. We can take away the stress that you have. We can give you more of your time back by doing the bookkeeping. So we're not just doing the bookkeeping, we're solving your stress, we're solving your problems, we're giving you more time. Those are the benefits that we're talking to here. And also addressing the common pain points as well. So that might be, we're giving you more time back because you keep missing your kids' football game on a Saturday morning because you're in the office doing the books. Okay, so that's a pain point that they're having, is that they're missing time with their family. We can give that back to you. That's what's really powerful here. So talking about your service offerings in that way. Client testimonials and success stories again. Okay, so we saw that earlier in a different, having a whole campaign around this, but this might be something you incorporate into your welcome campaign, and having those stories, because it builds credibility and trust. You might have a unique selling proposition, a USP that sets your business apart from competitors, focusing on your strengths and specialties. You might have a niche. You might have an industry you like to work with. You might really specialize in business advisory, or you like to work with startup businesses. You might have a little niche that you like to work with, and that could be what sets you apart from everybody else. So inform them of that. Educational content, again, okay, so that could be sending them your blogs, your bookkeeping, your tips, tax saving strategies, content that's useful to them. Send them those in the welcome campaign. You might want to introduce them to your team, adds that personal touch and builds a connection with them. Case studies again, so we've kind of had that twice. We've got client testimonials and success stories, and then we have case studies, which is a little bit more in depth. So that's more of a full kind of article about how you've managed to help somebody, rather than just a soundbite testimonial. We also have call to action, so that might be booking an appointment with you. It might be signing up for a service, or it says downloading a resource here as well. That could be something that you get them to do. Could be follow you on social media, or get in touch with you in various different ways, and also providing your contact information there as well. So lots of really useful, important things that you could add to your welcome series. Now, we've also asked it the question, how many emails should I use within this welcome campaign? And it's suggested that it's typically between 3 to 5 emails. Then I've also asked it the timings, and it's given me a breakdown of when I should send these emails. So the first email I should send immediately after somebody signs up, and provide that warm welcome and a brief introduction. The second email you should send 2 to 3 days after the first one, going into more detail about your services and benefits. The third email, send that about 5 to 7 days after the second email goes out. And this one will feature client testimonials and success stories. And then the fourth email, it's kind of said this is optional depending on how many emails you want to go into. But the fourth email, send that 10 to 14 days after the third one, offering valuable educational content or resources. And then the fifth email, send that 20 to 30 days after the fourth one, including a strong call to action to encourage taking the next step. So this might be the way that you do it. You might go and research, and because something that's important to note here is that your audience may have a different way of responding to your content. And it's important to test your own audience and see what they respond better to. What times does sending the email out work better for them? What has a better open rate? Is it better to stay in their inbox every day or once a week? And once you get into that frequency and a bit of a rhythm, that sets an expectation. So if you send them an email once every week on a Friday at 4:00, they can learn to expect that from you. If you send them an email every single day, every morning, so every morning they get to their inbox and they see an email from you, they can learn to expect that, okay? So it's about the frequency and the consistency rather than the necessary exact timings that you send things out. I think in the early days of the welcome campaign, you do want to have a bit of momentum, and you want to kind of follow on from what somebody's started to learn about you. So we also have the best times to send the emails, and it says here, it suggests that to send the emails in the morning between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. or early afternoon between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. on weekdays to increase the likeliness that they'll be seen and read. And it also mentions that Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays often have a higher open rate for B2B emails. So that might be something that you test. I would always say, take this information, test it with your list, see what does perform better, because it may be that for some reason, a different day works better for you. And these are the general kind of information that ChatGPT's found, but you still want to test that. Okay, so let's move on to the next question here that I've asked it. So I've said, let's go ahead and create that first email in the series. Ask me any questions you need to know in order to add the appropriate information and personalize the email to our business and the target audience. Now, I've added that into the prompt here. And these prompts are very simple, and I'm going to show you a much more in-depth prompt in a minute. But these prompts are very, very simple. What would add a lot to that is if you already have some information about your business or your ideal client, or whatever, what your services are in your custom instructions. So I've done sessions on this before about teaching you how to use ChatGPT to make an ideal client profile. You can take that information and put it into your custom instructions so that when you ask this prompt that is quite simple, it already has that information in there. Okay, just a little point to add. But what I've done in this particular example is that I've just said, let's create the first email and ask me any questions that you need to know. So it's asked me a series of questions. I've then gone through and responded. So it's asked me the business name, details, the unique selling proposition, who my target audience is, what kind of tone and style do I want to take, what are the key services, what's the call to action, and so on and so forth. So I've just very simply responded to all of those with the example that I tend to use, which is that we are an accounting business that works in the pet industry and focuses on growth. So and we focus on solo entrepreneurs in the pet industry. That's just the example that I tend to use. So it's taken that information and it's now gone ahead and created the first email in that series. So we've got the subject line first, and we'll look at going into expanding those in a second. Welcome to Pets Accounting, tailoring successful pet industry entrepreneurs. We then have the email content. So we've got, hello there. Welcome to Pets Accounting, where we specialize in nurturing growth one number at a time. We're thrilled to have you here and excited to embark on a journey towards financial clarity and business success with you. At Pets Accounting, we understand the unique challenges and opportunities within the pet industry, especially for dedicated solopreneurs like you. Our focus is on providing expert bookkeeping services tailored to foster growth and stability in your business. We believe that with the right financial insights, your business can thrive and reach new heights of success. So it's put little headers in here as well. So we have a couple of different headers about what we offer, why choose us, and next steps. And under what we offer, we have a series of bullet points here, which are some of the benefits that we talked about, including the benefits of your services. So that's gone in there. Why choose us talks about the passion that we have and our expertise in this particular niche and area. And then the next steps is that call to action. So you can go and book an appointment with us today and get started with us. Okay, so it's incorporated a lot of those different elements that it talked about. It's pulled all of those into that first email for me, and it was a really simple prompt. You saw how simple that prompt was just, okay, let's write the first email, and that's what it got for us. So I've put, that's great, now can you create email 2? So let's move on and we'll do the next email. So we have unlock your business potential with specialized bookkeeping. Hello, we hope you're feeling excited about the possibilities ahead. At Pets Accounting, we're dedicated to helping solo entrepreneurs like you navigate the financial landscape of the pet industry with ease and confidence. So it's tailored bookkeeping for your unique needs. Here's what we can do together. So it's put a couple of those benefits in there. Again, we've got financial clarity, growth planning, and time saving. Why it matters. Effective bookkeeping is the cornerstone of a successful business. Are you ready to enhance your financial journey? So it's a similar theme. It's a similar, we're telling you the benefits of the service, what we do, and how you can take the next step and how you can get in touch with us, okay? So another thing to note that you can do is if you don't really like the tone of that email, it's not really in keeping with the way that you speak, you want a more friendly tone, or feels a little bit too stuffy, too professional, then you can give it instructions to change that and play around with that. Now, of course, what you could do is take that email as it is and go away and edit it yourself. You can absolutely do that and just use that as the kind of starting point. But the more closer to the final product you can get it in ChatGPT, why not do it that way? So we can, here's the prompt that I've given it. Can we change the tone of the email, rewrite the first email, but this time I want the tone to be warm and friendly. I don't want excessive pet puns, just simply a more friendly tone rather than stuffy and professional. So I added that little bit in there because when I use the tone friendly or light-hearted, it tends to make it quite jokey, quite sarcastic. It puts a lot of puns in there, and that's not necessarily what I want. I just want a bit of a warmer tone. So let's go back to that first one and read the first one first, and we'll look at the difference. So the first paragraph here: welcome to Pets Accounting, where we specialize in nurturing growth one number at a time. We're thrilled to have you here and excited to embark on a journey towards financial clarity and business success with you. So now let's look at the one where it has changed the tone slightly. So the tone now says, hi there, we're so excited to welcome you to Pets Accounting family. It's great to have you with us, and we can't wait to dive into the wonderful world of numbers and growth together, especially since you're in the vibrant pet industry. At Pets Accounting, we're all about making your business life easier and more successful. We know that as a solopreneur, you've got a lot on your plate, and we're here to take your financial worries off your shoulders, leaving you more time to focus on what you love, your business, and those adorable pets. Okay, so you can see how it's got a little bit more of a friendly tone. It's not gone excessively into the pet puns, which is great. I didn't want it to do that, but it's got a slightly different approach, a slightly different tone there. So you can start to personalize the emails in this way and bring in your own writing style. Now, we have also talked before as well how you can create a GPT that learns to speak in your specific writing style and tone, and you can get a lot more out of it when you do that. Now that is on the paid plan. You can create a GPT that speaks in your tone and your writing style, and then get it to create those emails within that. So it already has that information about how you like to write. Alternatively, you can give it a really extensive prompt on how you want it to respond. So let's look at a slightly different prompt that I've given it that is a lot more detail here. So this is quite a long prompt because I've given it a lot of context and I've given it a lot of more information and a lot more instructions, and I've followed some principles to help improve that prompt and give it more to go off. So this is a very long prompt, but I'll go through the elements of it. So first of all, I'm giving it a persona. You are an expert copywriter and marketing specialist. Over the years, you've honed your craft and are now able to create unique, enticing, and engaging email content that rivals that of the greatest copywriters. So I just like to flesh that out a little bit rather than just you're an expert copywriter. I've heard that if you give ChatGPT a bit of a backstory almost, you've honed your craft over the years, then that tends to work quite well. So some of the things that work well with ChatGPT are sometimes a little bit tricksy like that, or kind of finding little ways of phrasing things. So I gave it that quite a good persona there. Now the task that I wanted to do is I want you to create a standardized series of 5 emails that make up my welcome campaign for new leads. Each email should have a catchy, attention-grabbing subject line. Over the 5 emails, you should introduce me and my business, welcome them to the community, explain some of our services and offers, focus on the value and the benefit, encourage the new lead to subscribe to our other social media channels, check out our website, and manage their expectations of how often we will contact them and what the content of our emails will usually be, i.e. invitations, updates, opportunities. Each email should have a sign-off followed by a PS with a call to action. So that's very detailed. And I've given it all of those things, the kind of top 10 essential things that we found earlier in the conversation, I've added into this prompt, the specific things I want it to include. So for context, my business is an accounting firm that specializes in working with the pet industry. If there's more information that you need, then just ask. The audience, so I'm adding the target audience in here as well. The audience is solo entrepreneurs that work in the pet industry and are in need of a new accounting professional to help them grow with their business. That's the example that I'm using, and that's the audience that I'm trying to reach, that I'm speaking to with these emails. And then I've also just added a little bit how I want the email to be formatted. So use Markdown. That just means that it makes the words bold and different sizes and stuff. And include a subject line, a preview line, because when somebody sent an email, you'll see the subject line first, and then there'll be a little bit of a preview line, which shows them the kind of first line of the email or whatever it is you want to show them, kind of expands on the subject line. So you have a subject line, a preview line, the email content, a sign off, and then a PS with a call to action. And I also wanted to use headlines throughout to separate the text. Use a variety of short and long sentences with no more than 2 sentences per paragraph. So again, if you have a GPT that is already trained on your writing style, you don't need to add all of this content to the prompt. But that long prompt is in the case that you don't have something like that. and you want to give it that extra instruction and that extra information. So the email that it's come out with, we now have the subject line first. Welcome to your accounting name. So that would be Pets Accounting. Welcome to Pets Accounting, pet industry experts. And the preview line, get ready to unleash your business potential. So here we go. Hello, welcome to our business where we're passionate about helping pet industry entrepreneurs like you thrive. Introducing your name and our mission. At our accounting firm, we understand the unique challenges and opportunities of running a pet-related business as a pet lover and financial expert. I founded this firm to provide tailored accounting solutions specifically designed for the needs of solo entrepreneurs in the pet industry. So you can see it's got the different headlines. You can see that none of them have more than 2 sentences in each paragraph. We've got connect with on social media, visit our website, we have the sign off, and then we have a PS. Don't miss out, click here to subscribe to our newsletter, okay? So obviously the more information you give it, actually I want the PS to be to book an appointment. Here's the name of our business so it can fill in all of those template gaps with the name of the business as well. The more information you give it, the better. Okay, so different ideas there of how you can get it to generate those emails for you in the series. Once you've then generated the 5 emails it is for the welcome series, you go over to your CRM system, you set those up, and you set it up with a trigger so that when somebody joins that list, they automatically get those emails. So that's what the content of the email is going to be. Now we also want to look into the subject line that you use, because this subject line is really important on getting them to actually click and to actually open those emails. So first of all, I've done exactly the same thing, and I've asked ChatGPT to give me 10 of the best practices for email subject lines to improve the open rates. Use the internet to help with your research if you need to. So on this example, I'm using the paid version. Again, you can use the free version. You'll just know that the information it finds is from January 2022 and previous. So something like this, subject lines, social media algorithms, email open rates, a lot of these kind of things do change quite frequently, and there are different techniques that work over time. So you might want to get some more up-to-date research if you're going to do that. But the things it's found, we need to be clear and concise. We want to personalize with merge tags, so you can personalize and put somebody's name into the subject line. You can segment your audience so that you can tailor different emails with different types of content that go to different people with different interests, if that's relevant to you. You can avoid over-promising in your subject line. So avoid over-promising and be more realistic, but you want to probably inspire curiosity and things like that. So preview what's inside, give them a hint of what the email might contain. Use numbers. Numbers are very eye-catching and attractive in subject lines. You want to time your email right to send it at the right time. And you can use AI to find those best times as well. Use simple language, include a call to action, and then also you want to be testing and optimizing your subject lines. So if you're using something like MailChimp, they have built-in features where you can send multiple variations of an email that have different subject lines, and that will send, you can either set it to send them all different subject lines, or you can set it so that the first maybe 500 people get different subject lines, and then the winner, the one that gets the better open rate, then goes to the rest of your list. So that's something that we do in the business, and you can then come and track afterwards and have a look and see how successful those open rates were and see what elements maybe made it different. So if you're testing 2 different subject lines where one of them has numbers in and one of them doesn't, or maybe one has emojis and one doesn't, or one's longer and one's shorter, you can see which ones perform better, and then you can improve your subject lines going forward. So what I've then asked it to do, I've asked it the question. So again, we can get more information from ChatGPT. Anything that you want to ask about emails that you want it to get that information for you. I've asked, what is a good open rate percentage to aim for? So it suggested that between 17 and 28% is a good open rate. And I'd agree with that. Around 25% is where we aim for in our business. Okay, so you can get information and advice on those sorts of things so that you know what metrics to now track. If 17 to 28% is a good metric, then that's where you want to be aiming. But do take into take into consideration that different industries have different open rates and various different things, and that's something that you work towards. Okay, so the prompt I've given it is, I run a bookkeeping business that focuses on the pet industry and provides business growth, advice, and strategies. I'm writing an email series that welcomes new prospective clients when they join our email list. Can you suggest 10 potential email subject lines for the first email in this welcome series? I want you to use the tips you discovered above and create one subject line for each tip that demonstrates that tip in use. So it's already found me those 10 tips. I want it to create a subject line that shows each of those tips in use. So we've got here, be clear and concise, the first one. Welcome to growth, unlocking your pet business potential. The subject line is direct and to the point and quickly informs the recipient of the email's core message. Okay, personalize with merge tags. So this would be including their name in there. So welcome name, start your pet business journey today. You can segment your audience. So tailored success, welcome to your pet business growth path. Now that might be if you have people that are interested in growth, or you have people that are interested in tax planning, maybe you have slightly different approaches to that. Avoid over-promising, so we've got get real results, practical bookkeeping tips for pet businesses. Preview what's inside, we have welcome, discover our top 5 bookkeeping strategies for pet pros. So that's intriguing, that's interesting, someone might click on that. Numbers, we've got 7 steps to elevate your pet business with expert bookkeeping. Time your email right, so start the month right, this might be something you send at the start of the month. Welcome to Essential Pet Business Insights. Start the month right. You send that at the start of the month or toward the end of the last month, and time the email so that it's going with that seasonal kind of approach. Use simple language, so boost your pet biz with easy bookkeeping tips. We have call to action, join us, unlock your pet business potential now, and then test and optimize as well. You'll want to get 2 or 3 of those. So if you're then going to go down that route and you're going to split test and you're going to test different subject lines against each other, of course, if you're not at that point, just start with something, and once you've got these emails going, then you can build in the split testing once everything's set up. But for each of those subject line, now create an A/B split test, so give me a second option for each. So I now have 2 options for each of those, and what I can do is I can then go to my we use MailChimp, I can go to my CRM system and set those up in there to see which ones perform better, and I can then adjust my system going forward so that I know that I'm always using the best subject line, the most appropriate one, the one that's going to get best open rate and best click rate. Okay, so that's really, really powerful. Now what we've also done, and this is again, if you're on the paid version and you're using custom GPTs, you can create your own GPT that's going to help you improve that further. So what I've done, well, this is one that actually Mark has built, is we've added our own information that we teach in the academy about subject lines. So we have a whole session in marketing about subject lines and headlines. We've added that information into the back of our GPT to then see if it can create a series of different subject lines whenever we need to create an email or a headline for a YouTube video or something like that. So all I have to do is give it the information about what I want to do. So here's the prompt. I'm writing an email welcome series to welcome prospective clients and leads into my business and mailing list. My business is bookkeeping and we specialize in business growth. The target audience is solo entrepreneurs in the pet industry. You can create your own pain points and challenges based on that target audience and incorporate those into the headlines. Again, if you have those things already in your custom instructions, that really helps. Or you can add that information and give it more context. But it's created for me a series of 20 headlines based on different principles that we teach. So we have one that's a big benefit, one that's curiosity-led, social proof, authority, pain avoidance, gain attainment. So let's look at some of those. We have the big benefit is unlock your pet business's potential with expert bookkeeping for growth. The curiosity is, why do top solo pet entrepreneurs trust our bookkeeping? Discover inside. So we're intriguing them. It's something a little bit curious that we want to find out. Social proof, join the pack of successful pet entrepreneurs maximizing profits with our bookkeeping. So that's saying join everybody else that's had great results. Authority, master your finances with bookkeeping methods endorsed by industry leaders. Okay, so industry leaders, we're the top with the authority, we have credibility. Pain avoidance, avoid those financial pitfalls. essential bookkeeping strategies for solo pet entrepreneurs. And what these things are doing as well is they are also calling out the ideal client profile here as well. So my profile is solo entrepreneurs in the pet industry. So when it calls those out in the subject line, those people think, yeah, that's me. I want to click that. But of course, you can substitute that for somebody's name. You say, put their name in there. Emily, are you struggling with your bookkeeping and stuff? And it makes it more personal. It makes it more clickable and interesting. We have a how to transform your pet business with strategic bookkeeping. Questions, are you missing out on hidden profits? Let's uncover them together, and so on and so forth. So lots of different examples there of subject lines. And I want to really quickly have a look and see if there are any questions for me. I don't think anybody's asked any questions. Caroline asks, actually, where do you get the email addresses to begin with? Okay, so that is a whole other process, and I only had the hour to teach you. So we looked today at, once you've already got the emails, how do you send them out? How do you write those? How do you get that conversion rates and how do you write those information? And how do you get all the good information in there? Another stage of the process then, Caroline, is how to get those emails into your business. And that is something we teach in the academy. It's something that we'll do other sessions on. But that is about your promotion, your other marketing strategies, whether that's your social media presence, whether you have something on your website where they can click to put their name and email address in and answer, fill out a form for an inquiry, book an appointment, whatever it is that they have to put their name and an email address in. Something we teach is to give a free piece of content that is really valuable, but it's a piece of content that's fairly straightforward for you to make, but it's really valuable to them. Give that away in exchange for somebody's name and email address. So they have to put their name and email address in. They then enter your list. You send them an email with that piece of content, and you can continue to follow up with other emails and marketing content that is appropriate to them. So that's kind of another system that we teach entirely, and it's worth its whole hour and a half that we teach in the academy. But yeah, hopefully that at least gives you a couple of ideas of how to go about that. Okay, I don't see any more questions, so that's it from me. Hopefully that's been useful to everybody. Hopefully it's given you a bit of an insight of how you can use ChatGPT to write your emails, get those subject lines, get some different ideas. You can obviously then take those and edit them yourself. Take the emails that it creates, set them up in your CRM system so that they go out on autopilot. And then whenever somebody enters your list through the other means that you do, that we just talked about, they're going to come in to your list naturally, and they will naturally receive these emails without you having to do anything. So you set these up once, and then they run continuously throughout the lifespan. So maybe you refresh them once a year or something just to change the information in them. But we've had email campaigns that we set up in 3 or 4 years ago that are still running and that still bring business into us as well. Okay, so thanks a lot, everybody. I'm going to play some music to see you out, and I hope this has been a great session, and we'll see you soon on the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye.